welcome to another video. Today's video I'm doing like a bit of a fantasy recommendations for noobs, like where to start with fantasy books, some really great fantasy books I've recently read. Now with fantasy, there are kind of like different subgenres within fantasy. There's epic fantasy, urban fantasy, high fantasy, dark fantasy. There's lots of different kind of subgenres within fantasy, and I'm recommending some books from different subgenres in fantasy, like I've just shared. And I'm really looking forward to it because fantasy is definitely my favorite, like, kind of genre. Well, not like kinda is my favorite genre, so I'm recommending some books to you today. So let's try and get this video to 400 thumbs up, and if you are new here, subscribe, hit that bell button so you're notified whenever I post a video. And apart from that, let's get on and talk about some fucking fantasy. Thank you very much. So let's just get cracking, because I've got quite a few to show you. I think starting off with just the first one on my pile, and that's The Three Dark Crowns by Kendall Blake. This is a high fantasy / dark fantasy about three sisters all competing to kind of rule the throne, to be crowned queen. Each of the sisters has a unique power. One can control the elements, another can kind of control animals and talk to animals, and others can withstand and sort out with poisons. And it's a really great story. First in a series is this build up to this fantasy world with these three different characters and finding out their weaknesses and their strengths and kind of getting used to the world and finding out why they are going to be competing and how they're going to be competing to become queens. It's a really great story. It's by Kendall Blake and I really recommend it. Next, I'm recommending an urban fantasy, and that is this series here, Shattered Blue and Renegade Red by Lauren Bird Horowitz. Shattered Blue is out and Renegade Red is actually out tomorrow, the 14th of March. So if you like the sound of this, go check out the Goodreads pages down below. But this is an urban fantasy set in modern day, a world which we all know and are very, very aware of. But there is the inclusion of Fae, and separate to our world is this Fae realm where it's kind of going to shit there, and this boy is banished from his realm, a Fae boy, to come and live in the kind of real world, and he meets this girl who is our main protagonist, and they kind of get caught up in this love, romance, also this kind of epic adventure it turns out to be. This is a fantastic series and I do really love Fae, and the reason why it's urban fantasy is because it has those ties with the urban world which we know. So yeah, but this one kind of is more based in the Fae realm, which was so epic to read. This one is based more in the real world, which we are so know and love, and yes, it's a really great urban fantasy series about Fae, humans, romance, magic, superpowers, and otherworldly travels. It's great. A high fantasy I'm recommending is going to be The Story Spinner by Becky Wallace. This has got ties with kind of the real world, like it reminds you of like a very old worldy medieval time, but it's about these mages, these magical beings coming over from their land to find a girl who is going to help put this magical barrier between the magical land and their own, because basically some stuff is going on. Follows this girl who is a story spinner. She is part of a circus kind of traveling act, and her father is killed, and she has to learn to kind of survive by herself with her mum and her brothers, but then she gets caught up with some royal intrigue, and it is really fantastic. I read this series, completed the series now. It was brilliant. I loved Raffi, he was such a good character. So yes, really enjoyed this one. The world building this is fantastic, and what I love is it's character based. It's really character driven. There's lots of different characters and lots of, I'd say about 5 different perspectives that you read from, which was super duper great. Next, I'm gonna go for a pirate fantasy, and this is Black Hearts by Nicole Castroman. This is I would say just kind of normal fantasy, not too epic, not too high. It's in a realistic world which we all would kind of think about, more historical fantasy, this one. And it's got this Blackbeard element to it, and it's about Blackbeard's origins. So you have this girl called Anne and this boy called Teach. Their worlds colliding, their want for escape and adventure, but being confined, being a maid, or confined to being a heir to an empire, them not wanting to live that world. And it kind of sets up this next book, which I'm going to be reading, called Black Souls. It's about the origin stories of Blackbeard. You find out which one of these characters is Blackbeard and the origins of the tale which we all know about him. So yes, it's kind of got this historical fantasy element to it. So if you like the sound of that, this is the one for you. Another urban fantasy series I'm going to be recommending is this goddamn series, and this is the Library Jumpers series by Brenda Drake. First one, Thief of Lies, and then Guardian of Secrets. I read both of these this month, and by God, it is good. It again is set in a modern day, which we all know, and it's just these friends in the first book. They go to the library, and then they see this guy. He's kind of hot and mysterious, but then he disappears. What the hell is going on? They go and to where he was reading this book, and a slip of paper falls out out the book, and it's got these words written in Italian, and one of our main character, the girl, reads them, and these 3 characters get transported to another library where they're nearly attacked by this demon creature. And then they're involved in this whole world of library jumpers, and it's almost like the protectors of the human world, and they have these abilities, which is really unique magic actually, where they can create these orbs, and each orb is like a different power, and each different person has an orb. So someone's orb could be able to control lightning, somebody's orb might be able to control fire or water or explosions. All the orbs have different powers, and we have our main girl who has 2 orbs, and she is special in this universe, and she's part of a prophecy. So the first 2 books are out now, and it's great, really great urban fantasy, the right blend of modern day and a magical realm, just the right blend. So yes, great urban fantasy for you guys to check out. Now this is a mixture between an urban fantasy and just fantasy, and that is Mist and Whispers by C.M. Lucas. This follows a girl in a modern day in English town. Her love for a bookshop and the want to save a bookshop actually transports her and her friends to another realm where they have to save that realm to ultimately save the bookshop. There's lots of mythical beasts in here, battles, a world filled with darkness, and a set of characters that you can't help but love some and hate some. There's half dragon boys in here, there's mysterious worlds, there's magical beasts, there's magic, there's fighting, there's war, there's everything you want in a fantasy book. The right blend of urban to then transports you to a fully high fantasy world. I love the blend of these 2 kind of modern day lifestyles where these characters who are so used to living with technology and us get transported to a world where there's nothing like that, and they have to survive, and they stick out like a sore thumb, let's put it that way. What a great start to a series, and you should definitely check that out if you like the sound of this. Goodreads link down below. And last but not least, finishing up with a classic for me, and that is Burning Glass by Catherine Prudy. This again is a really fantastic fantasy series about a girl who is an aurora seer, which means she can feel others' emotions, sense their kind of intentions, and as an aurora seer there is always a royal aurora seer, which is taken to the royal kingdom where she's kind of used as a kind of puppet in a way for the royal kingdom to make sure that they're all safe by checking everyone's intentions around the royals. And she is basically plucked from literally the remnants of a burnt down place where she lives, where loads of people have just died. Is she to blame? Is she not? And she is struggling with her power because her power is unlike any others, and her power is almost a bit darker, a bit more powerful, too powerful for her to control, and she is thrust into this world of royal intrigue during the midst of a possible rebellion, and which side she's going to fall for, which prince is she going to fall for, because there's 2 princes, 2 brothers. Really great high fantasy series, perfect for you young adult readers. It's out now, I really recommend it. If you like that kind of balance between magic and also intrigue, this is the one for you. So there you have it, there is my noob guide to fantasy. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will leave all the Goodreads links down below, and apart from that, I'll see you again tomorrow for another video. You've got a lot of videos from me this week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.